Right, welcome back to Social Club. We're going to be talking Liverpool, or rather, I'm going to be picking the brains of these people around me about Liverpool, and then I'm going to get really defensive and talk about it off the bat. Kind of like what we've just done with Spurs in the first segment, where basically Robbie just had a big go at Spurs and Flav got right on the edge of his seat.
I thought I was being nice, man.
Yeah, by comparison to what you normally do.
You wouldn't even get the same train with them today.
To be fair, you've not battle-rapped them to death, so it's probably a step up from the last thing we saw you talk about Spurs on. Anyway, the question is, and I'll start with Ped, because you're always good for it. What do Liverpool need to be able to achieve top four this season in terms of the January transfer window?
Good players, essentially.
Just good players.
Just good players. I mean, about 6 weeks ago, I was really worried that Liverpool might win the league because, like Flav was saying in the last show, that's our jobs, to either drag you down or just worry incredibly that our lives are going to be made hell by people who sit in pubs and watch games. So I was worried, but then it's I don't know. I just can't put my finger on it. But it does come down to quality football at the end of the day. Liverpool just don't have enough good players.
Yeah.
Benteke.
I'll ask you a question then, because I think you're dead right. Who would everyone say is Liverpool's two best players? Have a little think. If anyone has got the answer, by all means, blurt it out. Like, who you think?
Obviously, Coutinho is by definition probably Liverpool's best player, but he's so inconsistent. Yeah. And I was shocked last season that he was even considered to be Player of the Year, because I'd seen him score some really good goals, but I don't think I'd seen him have a decent 90 minutes all season. And I mean that truly from a football perspective. They've got a lot of solid players. Jordan Henderson is a solid player. Done enough to get himself on a FIFA cover. How I'll never know.
Our fan votes.
Yeah, don't let the public vote for anything. I think that's the.
Anyone else want to throw any player suggestions out?
Well, it's when.
Sorry, door opener.
Squeaky
Why
doors.
do we have a door open every single? Anyway, too popular. Go on, Rob. Name the players you would say are Liverpool's best players. I've got a point behind all this, so I'm just.
Well, it'd be Sturridge and Coutinho, but Sturridge never fit, is he? But Sturridge, awesome player. Coutinho, I think. I kind of don't buy the fact when people say that Liverpool haven't got good players. I look at the team and I'm like, well, no, hold on. Benteke costs 30 million, and he is a good player, and he was one of the reasons why Villa, Villa was still in the Premier League last season and got to the FA Cup final. Firmino, nearly 30 million, banging in the goals last year in Germany. Henderson, even Sacco, he's an international player for France. You've got good players. There's just some things not right at the moment. Why the team's not clicking. You look at your team. Look at the players you've got in comparison to Leicester.
Yeah.
What's their excuse?
Oh, definitely. I am coming to something on this.
Yeah, I'm going to say this thing where I keep hearing where you haven't got the players. Even like, look how Spurs are playing. I'd say you've got better players, player for player, than Spurs have got.
That's not true.
No. Listen, if you look at the cost of the players. Look at the cost of the players.
Yeah, but Lamella costs 30 million.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, yeah, because Spurs is all right.
No, Lamella, come on. Lamella or say Benteke. Benteke is a higher pedigree of player than Lamella.
Just to answer Paul's question, I quite like the look of Can. Can. And Sturridge, obviously, but for the reasons Robbie said, there's no point talking about him. And Benteke, those are. But I would agree. I don't think the squad's there. I don't think the quality's there at all. And
Do you think Benteke, would he get into Spurs?
No, not currently, but I would say he's Benteke and Kane. Yeah, I mean, I was gutted when Benteke, when you lot signed him. I love him. And
Liverpool
Lukaku,
spent lots and lots of money, haven't they, on players?
Isn't that the problem, though? They just spend lots and lots of money.
Yeah, I mean, because remember, we even forget Balotelli's he's still a Liverpool player. And he's out on loan and that.
I'm really enjoying this show, by the way.
Yeah, it's good. But anyway, the point I'm driving towards is that, and you can, because if you know enough about footy, you can look at Liverpool and say, yeah, we do have some theoretically good players. I think our squad is fine. I think in terms of depth, there's nothing wrong with our squad by and large. There's a couple of little areas we could do with bolstering, but it's those top players, and it's not that we don't have them, it's that they're not performing. So Daniel Sturridge is up there with the best natural goal scorers in the league at the minute, but he's never ever fit. Henderson's our best midfielder, but he's been injured all season. And then past that, Coutinho is amazing, but he don't get 2 games on the bounce at him. He turns up for the big games. He turns up against Arsenal. He turns up against Man City and Chelsea. But then he doesn't turn up against West Ham, and he doesn't turn up against Watford and all that.
There's also a case for how those players fit into a system. Because you talk about Leicester, Vardy has got all the pace in the world. They try and draw teams in, hit them on the break with his pace. You know, you only have to look at the amount of penalties they win. You know, how many games they've changed because of penalties, because of his pace getting into the box. Mahrez is the little bit of magic that provides that ball. Everyone else is just a workman type player, and I think that's what Liverpool just missed. Benteke just doesn't fit into the system, but never was going to fit into the system, and that's why I can never understand why they spent the money on him.
But it's mad because he's scoring goals. He's still got, I think he's still our top goal. He's got like 7 or 8 this season. He's not loads by any stretch. The thing for me is, look at every one of your clubs compared to ours, and you've got at least one player who's having an amazing season. You've all got one at least, and most of you have got 2, and maybe even 3. You know, so you've got Kane's back to banging goals in for fun, and then below that you could say, you know, Dele Alli's just starting to come through, and you know you've got a great goalkeeper. You've now got an amazing goalkeeper. Mesut Ozil's arguably the best creative player in world football, and then you know up to that point you had Alexis Sanchez, who was doing really well prior to his injury. You could probably name another 3 on top of that.
Yourselves, we've got a goalkeeper.
We're not talking about the goalkeeper, but you've got Lukaku's banging form, and then aside that you've got Delafeo's in good form and Barkley's in good form as well. Not one of our players is performing to the level of any of those players I've just mentioned there, and that's where we are at the minute.
Sorry, Flav. What I wanted to say, I just think that the one player that Liverpool seem to lack is a creative player. Yeah. You need. I look at Liverpool. There's no sort of player in the middle of the park that can create chances for the forward players. Even Coutinho's not really...
Coutinho, yeah.
Or Coutinho, right? He's not really that creative player, is he? He's
meant to be, though, but he's not even been doing that. We joke he's to call him the key master.
But he's 22, isn't he?
He's a bit old. He's 22,
He's 22, isn't he? Because I've had this... It's the same argument with Ross Barkley. They're hot and cold. I think Ross has got a little bit more to his... He can switch that. He can switch from being a creative player to sometimes just getting his foot in.
He can be a bit of a bully.
But that's where Coutinho, I think, just misses out. But he's 22, you know. He needs. I think he just needs a little bit more quality around him. You could argue that maybe if they kept Gerrard for this season, that he would have been that little bit of.
We lack that. We lack players who are 27. In the prime, you know, in the prime of their lives. And like, you aren't exactly chock full of them or whatever, like you mean.
That's why we're 11th.
Well, exactly. But this is what we've got, is there too many young players who, like Firmino should be that player.
You've got a team full of young players.
Well, exactly. You know,
look, it comes back
but you've got Eriksen, who's mid-20s, he's banging. He's not your best player.
No, he's 23. Eriksen, yeah, I know, and it seems like he's been around for ages.
Not. There's no way Eriksen's 23.
I promise you, 22 or 23. Yeah. Look,
Nigerian
we also
the Bakayoko passport.
We also have the youngest average squad in the league as well. So I get what you're saying about that. And when you're in trouble or when things aren't going well, you do need experienced players to bring you out. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. Mm-hmm. You've got the right manager to inevitably, eventually make that happen.
Yeah.
You just need to be patient. Things are not going well at the moment. You've just had 2 1-0 wins and then got stuffed by West Ham.
God, is he really that age?
Yeah.
How old is he, sorry?
Is it 22 or 23?
He's 23, yeah. You're absolutely spot on.
But Klopp is the right man for the right club because he will be able to create a philosophy within it. And
probably, you know, one other thing I want to say, right? With everybody's blaming all the players, yeah? What about Klopp, though? I mean, listen, it's too early to start slating him because he's only just come. You've got to give a manager time. But somebody was saying to me, making a point to me the other day, and I was thinking, you know what, I hadn't really thought of that. He's going to have a lot of teams sussed out Klopp's style of play. He really only has one style, which is that high press style of play. His last season in the Bundesliga, it looked like a lot of teams sussed him out. Started playing a different style when they played Klopp's teams, getting the ball forward very quickly. West Ham seemed to do that against Liverpool the other day. Other teams have been kind of employing a similar sort of tactic. Is it Klopp needs to adapt his style to the Premier League?
I said when he signed, I said, look, Liverpool, you get the new manager bounce or whatever, but our league position's probably not going to change much. We could have kept Rodgers and we'd probably finish in roughly the same position. I think back to like Rafa Benitez's first season, and we were so inconsistent in the league. We'd have a really good win, and then we'd have a really poor defeat, and a good win, poor defeat. For me, it's going to be. I think the test is going to be how we do in the cups with Klopp this season. I think if he can engineer some silverware, and then he can start to build his own team in the summer. It'll put us in a better position. For us, though, for me, just in January, Liverpool just need to buy someone, and just where the back of the net is, because of we're in danger of having 2 seasons on the bounce where we've relied on Daniel Sturridge to be fit, and he's not. And you can't sustain that. No, we've tried to insulate us. Very unlucky losing Danny Ings for the season because he's not world class, but he would have scored goals, if he'd been available. Origi's been injured again. Benteke's been in and out. He's the only guy available. He's the last man standing at the minute. So there's a lot of pressure.
I think
on
where
him.
Liverpool's problem showed most were when they beat Southampton 6-1 and then went to Newcastle and got beat 2-0. And that showed to me that he played Sturridge on the Wednesday, and then I think did he start on the Saturday, or he was on the bench, wasn't he? And it showed that the style of play with the players he's got couldn't be used within 3 days. So he needs to get his own players in, and he needs to build up that stamina and have those type of players. Because one thing that shocked me about the Spurs team was how big and physical everyone was, and I understand immediately why, like, Aaron Lennon, he could have been the best player in the world, but he was never going to fit in that Spurs.
Well, look, I was looking at the 3 you've got behind Kane. Like Eriksen's not massive, but he's not like a little guy, is he? Ali's got a physical presence, and even Lamella's a big lad as well, isn't he? Very powerful.
How big he is.
This is the nastiest, most spiteful Spurs team I've ever seen. We got criticised for having a soft underbelly for years.
We're the new Spurs, basically.
There are. I've seen the parallels.
He's being linked with formerly world-class players and then not buying them, because that's the real step to being Spurs.
Yeah, it's true. But Liverpool are where Spurs were when Pochettino took over in a mess, and it's taken this long in order for it to work. And it will work. The Klopp is a class player, and it might be his problem now that he's not getting the team playing, but it takes a while for that system to work and for the players to understand it, because it isn't just simply pressing; it's pressing intelligently. The Klopp's first game against Tottenham, I was watching what I thought was a maniac manager, a mad professor, just go out there and run. And the first 20 minutes, you was running your arse off. I couldn't believe what was happening. I was like, what the fuck is this? Am I allowed to swear? Sorry.
It's done now, mate.
What is this? And then...
Cut! No, that's fine.
All right. What is... But it isn't sustainable playing that way. And what your players need to understand is it's a pack mentality, hunting packs.
We've just got too many. Again, compared our 3 behind the attack, and ours was at the weekend was Coutinho, Firmino, and then we brought Lallana on. And so the 3 with Lallana is probably what you class as our first choice. And in terms of the physicality, Lallana's got a great engine, runs about, but he's only a little guy. Firmino doesn't really seem to have that edge to him. Coutinho's got it, but only in the big games. There's nothing there to go to. I say you've got a Barkley behind yours who's got that real physical presence. I mean, you haven't really got it, but you've got Ozil.
Coquelin's there, but when he's
he's really good. I'm not talking about you anymore on this. But I'm interested to know, if you're watching at home, I'm interested to know what you think Liverpool could do with getting hold of in the transfer window. Is it possible to buy someone who can help to propel Liverpool into top 4? Liverpool fans, obviously.
Do you know Liverpool should buy, right? And there's been rumours that he might be available. I hope you don't buy him because it would improve you so much. But I think Isco, who's Real Madrid, he would be perfect for Liverpool. And they say he's available for about £30 million.
He's not moving here.
I'd have a fucking
Liverpool
disco. There you go. That's
you should buy Ross Barkley because he's a childhood Liverpool fan. So Liverpool fans keep telling me.
Yeah,
he's a childhood Liverpool fan.
Has he got a tattoo?
There's loads of credible quotes about him on the internet that I've seen in pictures next to him.
Are there any pictures of him in Liverpool kits?
I've seen him at Anfield with Benitez.
I see where you're going with this.
Saying that was his proudest moment and things like that. And because they're next to him in the picture, they must be true.
Must be true. There's that like that famous Eto'o quote, isn't there? It's not an Eto'o
that he always wanted to play for them.
Always wanted to play for them.
And score against Burnley.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. So but I'm interested as well, fans of other teams, can Liverpool buy their way into the top 4 this season? Let us know in the comments below. Still to come this week, we're going to discussing Man United's transfer targets / failings, which is going to bring a smile back to my face. Arsenal do they need to buy to secure the title? And the FA Cup. Totally know what I'm talking about this week. Little glad style. The FA Cup, and is it still relevant to the modern game?